We are giving race too much power. We are giving race entirely too much power. Racism created race. Racism created race. So if we're so focused on race, what we've done is we've given racism all of the power. Your reality is shaped by your mind. What you think will shape your existence. So that means I refuse to let racism have any power over me. I refuse to let racism defeat me. I won't even put the thought in my head. Racism not only will not defeat me, but it doesn't even affect me. That's my mindset. Racism can't stop me. It won't be a hindrance. It won't get in the way. If it tries to do anything to me, it won't succeed. Stop giving racism so much power. Stop focusing on race. What good is being black if you don't have any character? Being black only matters if you have character. So if you have black pride, if you have black love, if black is beautiful, if all these things are black, then it only matters if you have character. And if character is the basis, then it's not about your skin color. If a person can be black and still be a bad person, then clearly it's not about skin color. If a person can be good or bad and be black, then it's not about skin color. It's about character, which is about choice. You see, character is what defines you, not your skin color. It's your character. What good is your skin if it's covering a bad person? If black people can be bad, then clearly it's not about your skin color. Because if it was about your skin color, everybody black would be good. Matter of fact, everybody black wouldn't be able to be bad because being black was so good. That's not true. What good is being black if you don't have any character? And we seem to keep missing this. It's not about your skin color. It is about the character underneath the skin. Stop putting so much stock into what people look like. It is about the character. Stop giving racism so much power. Stop giving race so much power. None of these things should be able to hinder you. You should be able to leave your house and say, my day will be unaffected by racism. Even though I live in this world, even though I live in America, my day will not be affected by racism. You shape your own reality. If you got everything you wanted out of life, did racism stop you? Did racism hinder you? If you got everything you wanted out of life, did racism stop you or hinder you? No, because you got everything that you wanted out of life. We're running around here trying to save the world and we can't save ourselves. Stop giving racism so much power. Stop giving race so much power. Everything that happens to you is not because of racism. Everything that happens to you is not because of race. Life happens to everybody. Stop giving racism so much power. Stop giving race so much power. Stop giving yourself so much credit for something you had absolutely nothing to do with. You were born black. You were born black. Stop focusing on your skin color. Start focusing on your character, because that's what matters. If being black was so great, you wouldn't be able to be bad. And clearly, black people do some things that we shouldn't do to each other. We do the same things that every other race does. We are no different. We do the same things that every other race does. The only thing we do different is we terrorize each other as everyone else terrorizes us. But other than that, we do the exact same thing as every other race. We are not exempt from bad character. We are not exempt from immoral behavior. We are like everybody else. The only problem is we're just getting the short end of the stick. That is it. We just don't like our position. but we are like everybody else. It's not about your skin color. Your skin color will never be an excuse, nor will it exempt you from anything. We tried to use slavery, racism, and all these things to justify us not being who God said we were. There is no excuse because character is a choice. Your circumstances don't determine your character. Your choices determine your character. We don't terrorize any other group, but we terrorize ourselves. Think about it. All these other groups terrorize us, and in response, we terrorize us. Think about it. That's why I said, don't call me black. Don't be black, because it comes with a script. It comes with a narrative. It came with a script and a narrative before you were born or even thought of. Stop putting so much stock in your appearance and put stock in who you are. Put stock in who God said you were, not who they said you were, but who God said you were. Not even who you said you were, but who God said you were. And that is greatness in the flesh. You can't be morally bad. You can't have poor character and be great. So it's not about skin color. It is about the choice you make. It is about the choices you make while you are covered in a particular skin color. If being black was so awesome, you couldn't be bad. If being black was the greatest thing ever, then it would prevent us from being bad. It will prevent us from being bad people. And we all know plenty of bad black people. So it's not about skin color. It's about a choice. A black person can be bad just like a white person. And a white person can be good just like a black person. It's not about race. It is about character. We keep putting stock in all of this race. We keep putting stock in this color, and it has us in bondage because it limits our thinking. It limits our vision. It clouds our thinking. It clouds our vision. It prevents us from being great because we're focused on something that we don't have to focus on. Do you know what we can do together with our minds? We can create what we want. We can actually create what we want. We don't have to give racism power. We don't have to give racism power. We can create what we want. You got to free this first. You got to free this first. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. Everything we do doesn't have to be a response to oppression, but they tricked us. They made us glorify the struggle. They made us glorify our oppression. They made us idolize all these terrible images that we saw of our history and our past. It's terrible. It's not good. They made us focus on something that wasn't even real. We were not supposed to live like this. This is not reality. This is not reality. You know why? Because we haven't had enough courage to shape our own reality. We haven't had enough courage to be who God said we were. That is independent of who they said we were. That is independent of oppression. What would you be without racism? Who would you be without racism? What would you do without racism? Whatever you tell me, you should be doing now. Because if you're so great, if being black is so great and being black is so wonderful, then how can racism stop us? How could racism have conquered us? How? If being black is so great, how could racism have conquered us? How could we be losing? It's a false narrative. It's a trick. It's a trick pulled by the enemy. There's no power in your skin color. There is power in here. There is power in here. There's power in your mind. You shape your reality, not them. You shape your reality, not them. You're the one that tells the mountain to move. You're the one that tells the wind to be still. You do it. You have the power. You shape your reality. We got to get back to this. We got to start living for this. We got to get back to our true essence and stop responding to everything that we think is about our skin color. God created the universe. The same truth that God is the same truth that created the universe, which is the same truth that created you and I. Has absolutely nothing to do with the color. We are spirit first. So if we are spirit, what does our skin have to do with it? We are so fixated and focused on our skin, it has us in bondage. They've used it as a weapon against us. It's a weapon. It's a tool of destruction. Look how we live as a nation in this country. Look how we live. Look at our existence. I don't want any cliches. I don't want any metaphors. Look how we exist now. And it's all because we keep running back to skin color. That's a distraction to get you off the path of who you really are. They want you to be confined to being black. They created something and they want you to be confined to it. I won't be. I'm who God said I am. The same things that the cosmos is made up of. The same thing that these stars are made up of. The same thing that these planets are made of. The same things that this whole universe is made up of. Those same things are what's inside us. That's why we have the power to do great things on earth. You got to unshackle your mind, though. We got to look past this race thing. No, I'm not black. No, I'm not black. I'm who God said I was, and that's greatness in the flesh. Racism has no control or power over me because what I want out of life, I get. What I want out of life, I get. What God has for me, I'm going to get. Racism cannot stop me. Racism can stop you if you are black because racism created you being black. If you don't subscribe to the narrative, it won't have any control over you. Walk outside today and act like racism doesn't even exist. Walk outside today from now on in your life, act like racism doesn't even exist. I don't think about racism. I don't think about racism. I think about being great. I think about being who God said I was. Because if I'm who God said I was, I can't be stopped. I can't be defeated. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I have all the power. God already gave us the keys. God said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You already got the keys in your hand. I'm not going to focus on racism. I'm not about to focus on racism. We've been focusing on race this whole time, and where has it gotten us? It has gotten us absolutely nowhere. If being black was so great, we wouldn't be able to be bad. And that's just not the case. If being black was so great, racism couldn't stop us. We would have risen above it. Matter of fact, we would have defeated racism. And we haven't. We have succumbed to it for centuries. So don't tell me about what being black is. But you can tell me about what being great is. Because being great doesn't have any limitations. It's not limited by color. It's not put to a certain demographic. It's not for specific people. Being great is being great. It's no respecter of person. You make the choice to be great. This is the time of great awakening. This is the time of great awakening. You understand where we are. The world is waiting on you and I. We can create our own reality. We can create what we want. Everything is spiritual before it's physical. Everything is spiritual before it is physical. Your thoughts manifest reality. Everything that we see out there today in this world was a thought first. It was a thought. Everything started with a thought, even racism. Everything started with a thought. So if everything starts with a thought, how do you defeat something? With your mind. You got to defeat it with your mind first. If everything starts with a thought, how would you defeat something? You would have to defeat it with your mind first. And your greatest challenge is not going to be racism. It's not going to be this world. It's not going to be your skin color. Your greatest challenge is going to be conquering yourself. You will have to conquer yourself. You will have to understand and know who you are. You will have to conquer yourself. And once you conquer yourself, you will see the truth. You will see the light. You will see all these cliche things they've been telling us about for years. It starts inside here. Stop feeding into this narrative. Racism has no power or control, jurisdiction over you. God gave you all the power. God gave you all the power. There is nothing that can stop you. Not even a system designed to stop you. Not even a system designed to stop you. Not even powers that be trying to oppress you. None of them can have any power over you because God already gave you the keys. God loved you so much that God gave you the keys to win for yourself. I know how I sound, but I'm just telling you, your mind is powerful. Your mind. They used to tell us this. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You know why? Because it has unlimited possibilities. It's infinite in its ability because you can always come up with a thought. You can think of something every second. Think about that. Everything starts with a thought, and you can think of a thought every second. You know how powerful that is? Racism has no control over you. None. Racism has no power over you. Being black has no power over you. The same things that make up this universe are you and me. That's way beyond skin color. Get off the race thing. Get off the race train. Forget about it. Be who God said you were. God said we are more than conquerors. God said we are greatness in the flesh. Do you understand what I'm telling you? We're talking about the God gene. We're not talking about skin color. We're talking about the God gene. We're talking about life and death being in the power of the tongue. I'm speaking life over everybody right now. Everybody. Racism does not have any power over us, period. Period. We are going to be free from that. Racism has no power over us, period. We are too great. I'm too great for racism to stop. I'm too great for racism to stop. We can create our own reality. We can use this to create what we want. We can defeat everything with this. God already gave us the keys. Being black don't mean nothing unless you have character. But guess what? Being a man doesn't mean anything unless you have character. You can't be a man without character. You can't be a woman without character. You can't even exist and really be a functioning person. Really be a person of God. Really be what God intended to be for you to be without character. You can't. You can't even be who God wants you to be, who God created you to be without character. We are fighting against the very nature of our creation. We are fighting against our greatness, trying to limit ourselves to a struggle. Trying to limit ourselves to a struggle. Trying to limit ourselves to a struggle. They don't want you because you black. They don't want you because you black. They want you because you greatness in the flesh. Because what are you once you leave this body? Think about it. What are you once you leave this body? Who are you going to be? I'm challenging you all to go out there today and just do something different. Just go out there today and just don't care about racism. Just go out there today and say, racism has no power over me. Just go out there today and say, you know what? Racism has no power over me. You got to use this to shape your reality. Everything starts with a thought. Everything. Even you. Even me. We even started with a thought. A thought in our mother's mind. A thought in our father's mind. Think about how powerful your mind is. It shapes everything. So you wonder why we are where we are. We talk about mental slavery, but it's out of context. The mental slavery is not being tied to the system. The mental slavery is acknowledging that the system is in control. That's the mental slavery. The system is not in control. You are. The system is not in control. You are. So don't be black. be great. I'm not trying to minimize slavery. I'm not trying to minimize racism. I'm not trying to minimize oppression. I'm simply saying that those things don't have any power over me. I'm not waiting on white folks. I'm going to shape my reality on my own. I'm not waiting for anybody else. I'm going to shape my reality on my own. None of those things, none of these things will have power or control over me. They created this narrative, but it was our choice whether or not we wanted to comply. I'm not going to comply. I'm going to shape my reality. So I'm not concerned if you like me. I don't care if you accept me. I'm already approved. I've already been approved by the Most High. I'm not concerned about any of these social acceptances. I'm not. If they don't want to give it to me, then I'll take it. I'll take it because it's mine anyway. It's what God promised. Who would you be if racism didn't exist? What would you do if racism didn't exist? Where would you be if your skin color didn't matter? Who would you be if you weren't black? I'll tell you, you would be who God said you were. Wait for it. Free Blanche. Get money. Go.